Well, I was gonna go to a costume store last weekend, but I decided to wait until Sunday to go, and none of them are open on Sunday. Luckily, I found out before I left, so, I didn't make an unnecessary trip. But I did end up going to the bookstore, which is great because I'm officially registered to take the JLPT N4. I think I've already showed you the other two study books I have. But I also got these because mine are still in a box in the United States. And let's face it, this is what I need. And this, which is grammar, has grammar, but it's also listening. But looking at it is really intimidating. Like, it's just scary. And I know that once I sit down and really start studying, I'll be fine. I am confident enough that I'm confident enough in my comprehension that I think that as long as I can read it out loud to myself or hear it, I'll be fine. I'm not sure if the test uses furigana or not. For those who don't know, kanji. So the Japanese have 3 alphabets, right? There's hiragana, which is used to write most words. Katakana, which is used to write words that aren't Japanese in origin. So like radio, camera, my name, because I'm not Japanese. That's katakana. But it's all the same sounds. It's just different letters. And then kanji, which are Chinese characters. And the way kanji are read will change depending on where they're positioned, depending on whether they're part of a series of kanji with a kanji compound. And basically, I'm really bad at kanji. Hiragana and even katakana took me quite a while to learn. I ended up making flashcards for myself because that was the only way I could learn it. And katakana still, every so often, with the wrong font, I'm like, fuck, I don't know if that's so, or if that's or if that's shi, or if that's tsu, because they look really similar. But for the most part, I can read, right? Kanji? Fuck, man. I know that I can recognize approximately 300, which is approximately what you need for the N4, but prompted to write them on my own, I can't remember them at all. I don't remember stroke order, I don't remember basic shapes. Like, I'm really bad at kanji. And like I said, if I can read it out loud, I'm okay. Which is why, and that's actually quite a common problem, is that in order to read, I heard somewhere that in order to read a newspaper, you need to know, I want to say 2,000, but it might be 8,000, and I can't remember which it is. To be able to read a newspaper, you need to know between 2,000 and 8,000 kanji. Let's put it that way. But, increasingly, as katakana basically takes over words, because, there's just certain words you don't need anymore. As technology and culture advance, kanji is slowly sort of being not faded out, but the usage is really dropping a lot. And so a lot of Japanese people have a hard time with kanji. So what they do is, I'm going to show you this. Let's zoom in really close. See right there, that kanji? See the tiny hiragana right above it? That's how you read it. It tells you what the kanji sounds like, which is a big help if you are looking at it going, fuck, I know what that means, but I don't know what it means when it's next to that other one. And then if you look at it and you go, oh, arawa, okay, sure. Yeah, I know that word. Like, it makes things so much easier. And all my study books well, almost all of them. No, all of them are using furigana quite frequently, except for in the sections where they're specifically testing you to see if you recognize a kanji compound. And in that circumstance, they will put the word in katakana, and then it'll be A, B, C, D with different compounds, and you have to pick the right compound. So you still know what it sounds like. But I'm not sure if the test itself actually uses furigana as much as the study books do. For the N2 and N1, I would expect them not to. N3, I don't know. I don't know that much about the N3 yet because they just made it. N4, I'm inclined to believe that they will use a lot of furigana, but I could be wrong. So if anybody has taken the N4, because it's been out more than a year now, so there should be 2 batches of you people who took it after it became the N4, or even if it's people who took the old level 3, please let me know if there was furigana, because I'm actually genuinely concerned about that. So yes, I got more study materials. The test is the first Sunday in December, so I have about a month and a half to study. And if I think I can do it. If I can't do it, I'll be really, really embarrassed because I can talk a lot better than I can do anything else. And there's no talking section in the test. The fact that I can hold a really, a pretty solid conversation has no bearing whatsoever on my score on this test. They did add a section when they changed it, which is like common usage, so it has slang, which I'm really good at. Those sections in my study book, I keep like flying through an ace and going, that's easy, that's easy. And then I hit a kanji compound section, and I'm like, fucking A. This is what happens when you don't have a formal education. I formally studied Japanese 2 times in my life. One time was at the Seattle Japanese Language School, and it was 4 hours on a Saturday morning. I did that for 2 years. And yeah, I mean, they had their own leveling system, so it was really hard to say what level I left at. But I ended up taking Japanese 201 at Pacific, and I did okay. I mean, I had a problem of not showing up to class. Long story. Anyway, and I did okay there. But that was the last time I studied it, and that was like 2007? Yeah, 2007. So I've only formally studied it when I was 13 and when I was 19. The rest of it was just pure, 100% pure absorption from constant, unrelenting exposure because I'm that nerdy. So I can't read. I've kind of accepted that. I can't read. It's gonna take me a lot of work to get this kanji in my head again. I know a lot of it's still there and I just need to re-access it, but sweet baby Jesus. I just want... No, literacy is not... I've accepted that I will never be fully literate in Japanese, which makes me really sad. But, I just think that's an unreasonable goal for me, considering I'm an auditory learner. I'm an auditory and visual verbal learner, which is like so the opposite of what you need for kanji. Like, I can't speak the strokes of kanji. Like, if you're visual nonverbal, it's a shape. You can recognize the shape. If you're kinesthetic, you can trace the kanji. You can write it with your hand and memorize it that way. I'm neither of those. I learn by hearing things. I learn by reading words. These aren't words to me. They don't have any meaning to me. So I can't remember them. So it takes a lot of work to get them to actually mean something in my head. And even like going back and going, okay, this one, like going by radicals sometimes helps. Like, okay, I know this radical means person, this one means tree, person, tree, person, tree, person, tree, people. Person plus tree equals rest, vacation, break. Like a person resting under a tree. Please don't ask me how long it took me to get that one, because that took a long time. I kept confusing that, and it might even be the same one, honestly. There are a couple of them where it's like it's the same kanji, but they have radically different meanings. Like, the one that they use for wakaru, to understand, is the same as they use for bun, which is minutes. And that took me forever to figure out. Like, I kept looking at it going, shit, I don't know which one it is. And then I realized they're the same one. It's the same one. They just... So, the one I'm thinking of now is rest, and then body, karada. And they might be the same. I honestly don't know. Fucking kanji, man. Fucking kanji! I'm just glad I'm not taking Chinese, honestly. If I were taking Chinese, I would be fucked. I know the grammar's way easier for Chinese. For Mandarin. I can't say for Cantonese, but I know grammar's way easier, but Jesus Christ, I could not remember that many characters. Not in a million, bajillion, bazillion years. No way, no how. So, yeah. Halloween's at the end of this month, and it's my favorite holiday, so next weekend, Cindy and I are going costume shopping.